All right, call to order the meeting of Industrial Development Authority for February 23rd. We have one agenda item. Item number 2, approval of transfer deed from the Industrial Development Authority to the City of Bristol to TWAS Properties, Lot 20. Staff report.
IDA members, last night the City Council agreed to transfer property, specifically Lot 20, to the IDA for economic development purposes at the Falls. This lot is the one that is directly adjacent to Aldi's, on the east side of Aldi's, and what you have before you would be a tidal wave car wash that would be on a portion of Lot 20. The other portion of Lot 20 would then be developed with a restaurant. The restaurant is not known at this time, but there is an agreement, I believe, in principle in place where a restaurant would go on site on that other approximately acre and a half of that lot.
This lot 20 is across the street from Aldi's?
Across
it's the other
street.
corner?
Yeah, it's the other corner. And we do have the representatives here with Tidal Wave Car Wash. Marty Murphy is here to discuss that, and I think he has a brief presentation, if I'm not mistaken. Is that right, Mac?
I have a public comment sign-in sheets from Martin Murphy, Mike Hamlin, and Brent Roswell. So
if y'all want to come on up and take it over.
Good afternoon. My name is Marty Murphy. I am from 124 East Thompson Street, Thomaston, Georgia. I'm here to represent Tidal Wave Auto Spa. We have a little brief slideshow that we'd like to present to y'all today. But Tidal Wave Auto Spa is located out of Thomaston, Georgia, approximately 60 miles south of Atlanta. We currently have 92 locations open. I currently have 25 under construction with another 85 that's in design, permitting, or some type of due diligence period. So we're growing rapidly. In Bristol, Virginia, we've been working on this project for quite some time. Tidal Wave has been in business since 2004. Mr. Scott Blackstock and his wife, Miss Hope, started this business with one car wash next to their tire store. Miss Hope ran it. And then they had an opportunity to sell the tire store and wanted to reinvest the money, and they went to a car wash show in Las Vegas and decided they were going to open up an express wash. So they opened up the 3rd express wash in the United States. And Miss Hope basically was a big factor in that. She wanted to make it where it was feasible, and basically the atmosphere was entertaining to the women, because the women's who primarily is our base of our customers. 70% of our customers is the women of each market that we go into. Again, Tidal Wave Auto Spa, this is a brief history of it. You know, our buildings are approximately 3,500 square feet buildings. We don't just put up a metal building or anything. We do a lot of brick or stone facade, and we'll show you some pictures of that. Each car wash is open particularly 7 days a week, hours of operations from 8 to 8. We employ anywhere from 10 to 12 to 15 employees, depending on how well that site's doing in the market. We employ a site leader, and that site leader has a vested interest. They make bonuses based off from 3 criterias: how clean our site stays, how clean our cars are at the end of the tunnel, and how well our customer service is. Chick-fil-A is the industry standard in the fast food business. You know, everybody looks at them as having the nice, friendly service with pretty much consistently food. Well, Tidal Wave is the industry standard in the car wash, and it's known throughout the industry. And you know, we set the standards. Mr. Scott and Ms. Hope, this is family owned, and they strive to make the nicest looking business in your community, and that's what we plan on doing here in Bristol, given this opportunity. This is some elevations of the building. As you can see, it's got stacked stone at the entrance and exits and on the columns. Let me get to the next slide. This is the layout as you come into the Falls. As Mr. Randy had spoken, that we're opposite corner of Aldi. You'll come in and you'll come to the roundabout. You'll circle around to the drive that actually is directly in front of Hobby Lobby, and we have created one access point to this lot, Lot 20. Lot 20 we have divided into 2 parcels, Parcel A and Parcel B. Parcel A is the corner lot, which we intend on building on. As you can see, once you enter through the access, you'll make a left turn to get into our queuing or our stacking. At that point, you will enter what they call an XBT, which is a pay station, or a lot of us look at it as an ATM. That particular terminal is also, it is encased in stack stone. It's just not a regular metal encased piece of equipment sitting there. It's in stack stone as well. Once you go through this point, the gate will raise. You will enter through to the wash lane. The next structure you see, or it's actually a shade canopy. The little square box there is 20 by 20. This is basically what we call a sunshade cover for the employees. They prep your car. They'll prep the passenger side of the windshield, the front grille, the rear of the windshields, or the tailgates, or the lift hatches of the sport utility vehicles. Then once you get through that attendant, the next attendant will be standing slightly inside the tunnel, and they will be guiding you onto the conveyor. At that point, you would put your car in neutral, hands off the steering wheel, feet off the brakes. Probably 30 seconds later, you're popping out the end of the tunnel with your car completely clean, with the new graphene, which is taking the place of wax, where we all used to do wax. Now it's a product called graphene. Tire shine applied, and your car will be essentially dried. We have 14 blowers at the exit end of the tunnel, approximately sitting within 20 feet internally of the tunnel, that dries your car. None of our dryers are outside the building. Everything that we do is internal. Once you exit the building, you'll make a right turn. At that time, you will have the option to use what we call our double vac canopy. This is a very nice structure. Again, it looks similar to the car wash. That structure is provided for the shade and your convenience if you wanted to vacuum your cars. All the vacuum components is run through the internal portions of the roof. The hoses hang down to collectors that are mounted on the columns, all painted the same color. They blend in. It looks very nice. That time, if you get through vacuuming your car, you have the opportunity at two egress points, one to the top of the screen and one at the bottom of the screen. If you'll notice at the bottom of the screen, our dumpster enclosure, it is also wrapped in the same facade as the building itself. So nothing goes just put out there with a wooden fence or just block. You know, we want to make the country club atmosphere with this particular car wash. That's a little bit about the layout. As you can see on parcel B, our plan is to, and we have plans that's been approved, to grade that, excavate that, and provide a pad-ready site that we would do minor landscaping to that lot. Now, our lot, we're going to do extensive landscaping. We have an extensive landscape plan that will do this. On their lot B, which we do have a tenant that has, or a customer or a partner that has contacted us, and we have an agreement, and the PSA is sitting on my desk for me to sign. If I get these approvals here, we'll sign the PSA agreement, and they said at that time they would disclose who the restaurant that is of interest here.
Marty, just to orientate me properly, that parcel B, that really is what faces Aldi's?
No, sir. Parcel B is opposite of Aldi's. Aldi's would be to the left of the car wash.
Okay, so.
Parcel
right.
B.
Lee Highway is at the top of the screen.
Yes, sir.
Oh, okay, I got you. Thank
Yes,
you.
sir. I apologize. Yep, Lee Highway's top of the screen. Parcel B, I guess the next business down from it is Planet Fitness.
Right.
So
Okay.
that is the parcel. Again, you see our extensive landscape plan that we have, the trees, the shrubs, the sod, the rock and stone. We don't do any mulch or pine straw. If we have what we call landscape beds, it's all done in rock. You know, with good rains, you have your mulch or pine straw washes out, or it fades and looks bad. We don't do that. We spend the money to go to rock, what we call river rock. So it's a lot of expense on our behalf, but we like it. It's a one-time investment to make this development look beautiful and stay beautiful.
I've got a
Yes, ma'am.
quick question, if you don't mind to back up. So the roundabout would be at the bottom?
Yes,
of
ma'am. The
screen?
roundabout is the bottom left-hand corner of that screen that you're viewing now.
Okay, and then, so as people turn in, how many cars can fit in that queue before the payment machine?
Before the payment machine, actually in the payment machine, and then before the payment machine, I think there's 10 cars that can sit there queuing in.
Okay,
Yes, ma'am.
my concern is that you've got the roundabout, and I've seen other car washes where, you know, especially after it snows or something,
Yes, ma'am.
the
Absolutely.
line goes out into the road, and if that's the only way people can get out and they have to go into that roundabout, they have to like cross that traffic.
Yes, ma'am. Let me go back one more sheet so we can kind of clear that up. You know,
If you would wait just a second, I'm gonna get an overhead map pulled up and I can show you
Okay.
what they're asking.
So you're gonna have the car wash sitting right in this area here. Your entrance is gonna come in this way.
Oh, it's not on that main.
It's not on this way. So
I thought it was that
it's
main
gonna come in this
turn-in.
way,
Okay.
and then you'll go into the car wash, come back out, and then out here.
Well, it's actually gonna go around the roundabout and then
Yeah,
turn
you're gonna have to come in
that way.
all the way around and go in this way to
Okay.
get into the car wash.
I was concerned that we were making a bottleneck in that main entrance, or the main exit of the whole development. Okay, all right, thank you.
So where's the
Marty,
exit?
why the,
I'm sorry,
go ahead.
where's the exit?
Your exit everybody will come in this way, just like you see here.
Right.
You'll enter here, and then when you come back out, you'll exit out the same way.
Okay. And where's lot B on this, just while we're up here?
This section here.
Okay, thank you.
And Marty, the reasoning that, I would think the restaurant would want the corner for visibility. Why the car wash instead of the restaurant?
Why not the car wash? That's our question. Every time we go to these meetings, why not the car wash? You know, we can build a nicer looking business than a restaurant, and we can certainly create the look that the city of Bristol would want everybody to follow us on. We're gonna go over the top with our landscape, with our stacked stone, and believe me, if you've ever gone to see one of our washes, you pull up, you're like, wow, this is a great looking business. We want this business. And,
I was just thinking the marketing that you know, when I go to a car wash, I know where I'm going.
Yes,
You know,
sir.
sometimes a restaurant, I'll just see it driving by and say, oh, let me
Yeah.
stop in here.
Well, for one reason, we want you to see us.
Yeah.
That's part of our business model. We want you to see us. We want to invite you and your wife and your family to come into this opportunity, to this service that we're providing. So the way that we provide that is we do an exceptionally good-looking building, beautiful landscaping, and it stays like that. Mr. Scott will come up. We have gentlemen and ladies that come up and do what we call evaluations. They'll just pull up. They'll go through the car wash as an anonymous purchaser, and they'll evaluate that site. We do that on all 92 of our current locations. And we also, in our corporate office, we have a big room very similar to this size. It's a bunch of ladies and some gentlemen sitting in there, and they do what we call site evaluations. They have checklists. They have a sheet that has your name or, you know, whoever's on the job that day. They have photos of them, and they sit there and evaluate Mr. Murphy. Is he greeting the customers with a smile? Is Mr. Murphy keeping the site clean? So we put a lot of pride into creating what I'm telling you today. We go through great strides to make this happen.
What's the size of the investment to build this car wash?
Approximately $5 million.
I have a question pertaining to the service.
Yes,
I
ma'am.
have a handicap van that is 8 feet.
Yes,
You
ma'am.
say I have to have a clearance. There's not one car wash in the city that washes my van. That's why it looks the way it looks.
Yes, ma'am.
So will yours be able to service this lady?
No, ma'am. We have maximum height, I believe. We have height limiters at what we call the pay station. Well, it's actually 7 foot 10 inches. So if you can pull up under that and it will clear that, I can't imagine that your van wouldn't make it, and some of the trucks that we wash do make it. So, but if your van has the high top in it, which I imagine that it does,
It does.
yeah, it's difficult for us to wash those because of the way our equipment, and that goes for any car wash in the nation. We basically all buy the same type of equipment, same height and everything. Mr. Rand, if we can go back to
I
the,
have a dirty van.
Hey, Gene.
again, this is the site plan, and if y'all can kind of visualize where we're at now, at the top of the screen is Lee Highway. To the left is the main access coming off Lee Highway, which separates this parcel from Aldi. You'll come to the roundabout. You'll take, I think it's the third opportunity to exit the roundabout, and then you'll come up slightly and you will enter this project. And at that point, you can have the choice to come to the car wash or to the retail development that will be developed on parcel B, which, you know, we do have a restaurant that has got a PSA agreement on our desk.
Now, is that a fast food restaurant?
It is a fast food. We'll have a drive-through, yes, sir. Again, this is the landscape plan. This is some elevations of one of our buildings. I'm not quite sure where this one's at. As you can see, the stacked stone, the landscaping. This is when we used to do mulch. We've gotten completely away from that. We do a lot of rock. And Again, this is one of our washes that we did a landscape feature, which we're planning on doing here at the falls. What greater place to put a water feature than here at the falls, as it's already represented throughout. When I drive through this area, the creeks and rivers and streams, and we have enough property here that we can obviously produce this. Again, another one of our washes. This is a combination of brick, 2 different bricks, and then we also have stone at the exit entrance of this, again with another water feature. This is our wash. I believe this is in Conway, South Carolina. I'm familiar with this one. Again, you can see beautification awards. If the city awards these, a lot of municipalities award what they call beautification spot of the month or business of the month. We win that quite consistently. This one was in Calhoun County, which is basically, most people would know it as Anniston or Oxford, Alabama. In that area, we won it so many times, they just gave us a sign and told us we couldn't participate anymore. That site leader went above and beyond to make sure he won it every month. Again, a little bit about Tidal Wave. We're not just about the cars, we're about the community. Mr. Scott and Ms. Hope, they have a special needs child. They have one child, a son, Justice. Their love is to provide for him the love and the attention that he needs. They are huge charitable. Every year, the 3rd Friday of the month of September, all proceeds go to a local charity. We prefer that be a special needs charity. It's a big day for us. We do, all kind of stuff for the kids, and it depends on the site leader. Every one of them do different things. It's just what they want to do. They'll partner with the local charity organizations, and they'll put on some kind of event at the car wash. So it's a big day for Mr. Scott, Ms. Hope. At the corporate office, we're all responsible for going to all the locations throughout the United States. We try to have somebody from the corporate office at the locations. Another opportunity that we create for the community charitable stuff is that what we offer that, people want to sell Krispy Kreme donuts as a fundraiser. Well, Tidal Wave offers local civic organizations, youth groups, churches groups, school systems the opportunity. We have what they call car wash coupons. You sell those coupons, those coupons, they're $20 value to get your car washed. Whoever's selling them, whether it's the Boy Scouts, Girl Scouts, whoever, they sell them for $10. So you get a $20 wash for $10. When you bring back, whether you sold all your coupons and you bring back the check to pay for them, that organization only pays $5 of the $10. So every ticket they sell for $10, they get to keep $5. So it's a great fundraiser. Mr. Scott made sure that, when he did this, he wanted to give opportunities to the youth, to the churches, to the organizations that do your typical fundraising, your ball clubs. I think I heard last night some discussion on one of your parks and softball groups and all. My daughter plays college softball, but before she did, she was through youth and high school, and it was a great fundraiser. You put these on Facebook that you have them for sale, they'll go almost overnight. You don't have to worry about selling them. You don't have to stand out there and hope the donuts melt on you throughout the day. So that's a little bit about Tidal Wave. Again, we're a family company, and we want to be a partnership here in Bristol. We don't just want to be a business in it for profit. We're here to be a partner with the city of Bristol. As we go through the different municipalities throughout the United States, we get very similar questions. Why do we want to be on the corner? Well, we want to be the shining spot for the city of Bristol, to say that when the next company comes in to build something, if you can make it look as good as theirs, we'd be glad to have you here. So with that being said, I'm open to any other comments or questions. And I have Mr. Mike Hamlin here, Mr. Brent Roswell to answer any questions as well.
Thank you, Marty.
Yes, sir.
What's been the involvement of interstate development with this project? And normally oftentimes we transfer land to them and they transfer land to the end user. What's been their involvement?
Basically what you just said. We're the end user. So our involvement has been with these gentlemen to acquire this property from them.
So,
Mr. Conco,
you can step up to the mic.
This transaction would be most similar to the Firestone transaction. That developer took the property directly from the IDA. Firestone had a preferred developer that they wanted to build their site. And so that's similar to what's going on today with the Tidal Wave transaction.
Okay.
One thing too that Marty may have failed to mention in his presentation, that he does have a PSA from another group that's doing a restaurant, but there is more than just a restaurant. The other site plan that we've seen, even though we don't know who the restaurant is, we believe there's an additional 3,500 square foot of retail going to. So it would be, I believe it's going to be 2 users, don't know for sure.
Questions?
I'm thinking that if we're going to be different and unique with the, the beautification is wonderful, especially for that area. I lived up there at Exit 7 over 32 years. And beautification is a must. But in my case, there are several vehicles that are, searching for that one that takes care of all vehicles. And to me, this is another car wash. But if you all agree that and the city has agreed with it, then my no won't count.
And one thing that I'd like to, when we started working with Marty's group, probably a year ago or so, as Interstate Development, we represent the falls, and we have been responsible for bringing Cabela's and Lowe's and Texas Roadhouse, whatnot. But we're having issues that when we come to the falls at the Aldi entrance, we have an eyesore. We've got a hole that's about 15 foot deep. We've got piled rocks. We've got weeds. In fact, we had a restaurant standing on the site saying, "You're all not showing your site very well. Why have you all not cleaned that up?" So when we first started talking to Marty with his car wash, one of the stipulations was he had to. This was before he had a purchase agreement with the restaurant. The stipulation was he had to take all of Lot 20, grade it, landscape it, and clean it up. So back in the beginning, we thought we were just getting a car wash, but he was going to do that. Now, since that time, he's got a PSA with a restaurant and retail, so the whole lot to be developed. And so we're very excited to get not just a car wash, but to get tidal wave, because they do go above and beyond in their landscaping and trying to do the beautification. And that's what we need. We're at the entrance. One of the main entrances is into the falls, and it needs to be cleaned up, and it will show better and help us in our marketing efforts. We're down to 4 lots left at the falls, and Blackwater Resources, that have most of the acreage in the fall, John Abernathy, they also are working on a future announcement that should be coming soon, and we expect by hopefully end of this year, first part of next year, that we are pretty much complete. We also are working with a developer on the site beside Cabela's, the bigger lot that's on the interstate. So, and I know we've been doing this since 2012, but we hope to say, hopefully by the end of next year, that we're pretty much done with the development on that side of the road at the falls.
So if we transfer this lot, are there guarantees that this car wash will be there within a certain amount of time? I mean, $5 million is a big investment. What are the guarantees?
Yes, sir. We're guaranteeing that we'll be open by the end of 2022. Our build time, as I explained before, all of our plans are approved through the state, through the local, which is Mr. John Puckett with the engineering department, and with Mr. Mike Johnson in the building department. I've been on the phone with them both this morning. Our plans are approved, and we're waiting on this decision today. With this decision today, I have the bonds in place for the performance bonds, and we will start construction within the next 2 weeks. Our build time is typically 24 weeks build out time. That'll be for the car wash only. As far as for parcel B, I will go back to the office if we get this approval today and sign that document, that PSA agreement. Money will go into escrow at that time. They're supposed to release a full site plan to us and who this potential restaurant is. And as for their development time, I can't speak on that because they'll have to go through the same process I did, which is state approvals, local approvals, and that takes some time to get the plans generated, engineering plans done, and but I would expect that to happen early to mid-2023 at the latest. And you know, as Mr. Brennan discussed, we took on buying not just parcel A, but we bought lot 20. We're going to get it developed and ready for a second user, which is a retail space and restaurant.
What's the involvement of Golden Gate Capital?
So Mr. Blackstock used to have 11 partners. He started it by himself, and he allowed some of his friends to come in. And Golden Gate is a private equities group, and they offered Mr. Blackstock an opportunity to trade in his 11 partners for one. And Mr. Blackstock still remains the largest portion owner of the car wash, and he is CEO of the car wash. So we traded in 11 partners for one, and that's the involvement with Golden Gate Equities.
One other thing too to mention with Marty and their group, they've spent over $100,000 so far, and you know, we're hoping today we have the approval. The other group that has a restaurant, they were not willing to come in and spend over $100K doing their civil engineering plans or architectural plans, go through the process of getting their permit until they knew that it could be approved. These guys have risked, like I said, over $100K, and it's been hard to find. You know, we have to attract tenants, but then to find a tenant to say, hey, you know, we need you to do all this due diligence before it's approved, it's just really a tough sell. So we appreciate Tidal Wave and Marty and the dollars that they've spent, and we're hoping for approval today.
So is this transfer to you, and then let's say the restaurant that comes in does not succeed? Are we coming back again?
Once this property's deeded, once it's signed, it goes to TWAS Properties. If they choose to subdivide a portion of that lot 20 off to another end user, they can do that, or if they want to keep the entire lot 20 themselves, they can do that.
Okay.
You know, once the deed is in their name, it's their property. IDA's hands are off of it. It doesn't revert back to the city at any time in the future.
And we fully plan on being very successful here. And with Lot B, we're pretty, and just to kind of give you a little history about our partnerships that we work with, unfortunately, you already have Chick-fil-A and, oh gosh, Jeremy, the Cookout. So those are companies that follow us relatively consistently. We kind of, you know, the market is what it is. Chick-fil-A is not going to go into a market they feel like wouldn't support their business model. Neither will I. And I won't do that to Mr. Scott, and that's why he trusts me to do this for him. I've worked for Scott for 7 years, and we've been very successful. And we have a following that when we go into a market, you'll start seeing other businesses follow in because they're like, it's like when Chick-fil-A, and I hate to keep referencing Chick-fil-A, but when they go in, the light goes off, Starbucks, and other people start looking around. You'll start getting other, you know, businesses that look into the market saying, well, if it's good enough for them, why haven't we looked there already? Or we need to be a little more proactive and get involved in that community. So I assure you, when we get this opportunity, you will see the light go off in this development in the falls.
More for Randy and Mac. You know, we transfer this property. You know, IDA gets removed from the property. That doesn't affect any of the ability to raise revenue from those sites for bonds that we're servicing. And then two, does that monkey with the 2% sales tax pass through that we have on that project overall?
This does not. This phase of the falls has nothing to do with the bonds associated with IDA, and so and nor is there any restriction in state code that says a car wash cannot be located in a development of regional impact.
Okay. I'm just asking, does transferring the property do anything to that either? I know we've got the one property that's been designated as this regional impact, but splitting that up doesn't have any kind of ramifications to either of those things?
I don't quite understand the question.
So once we transfer this deed out of the IDA, out of the city, we're not going to have any negative ramifications on the sales tax or the bonds, the ability to raise money. You're saying there's no bonds tied to this and it's not going to impact the sales tax. Is that correct?
There's no revenue bonds associated with this parcel of property.
Gotcha. That's what I was asking.
Yeah.
Other questions?
$5 million, I'd like to raise that roof just a little bit.
We can raise
That
the,
would be unique. You couldn't believe
Yes,
how
ma'am.
many you would be servicing in this area.
Well, I've got a solution. You all need to put in a air pump. You need to lower your tires just a little bit, and then it'll slide right through, and then you pump your tires up right at the end.
I think we can get a Boy Scout or two to wash your van, I think. Might be better.
yes, ma'am. I will have to apologize, but as far as the roof, we do, our roof line will allow it, but if you can look at the picture behind you, the equipment that's provided, it would have to be a special manufactured equipment. You know, we've never had that request before, and we buy this equipment from the providers, the same as all other the car washes throughout the United States. So,
Not to prolong, but you said you've never had this question before. I like that. But listen, is there regulations that says that you have to have it at 7 by the engineer?
no, ma'am. Again, this is equipment. We just buy the equipment, and that's what's provided. We could certainly look into an adjusted height, but at this time, it's not available.
All righty. If there's
That's
no-
why certain trucks can't come through. I mean, they have the height limiters.
All right, I'm done.
All right. So, if there's no other questions, I will entertain a motion for the approval of the transfer of deed.
I'll make a motion for the approval of transfer of deed from the Industrial Development Authority of the City of Bristol to TWAS Properties.
And IDA, there is a resolution for that transfer of the
You
property.
need to read it.
So we can read that if you'd like.
Is that before the motion?
Either way,
All right, well, let's get a second and then we'll read it.
sure.
All right, I got a motion by Jan.
I'll second.
I got a second by Nick. Go ahead and read the resolution, man, or whoever, Mac?
The resolution for the transfer of city-owned property, whereas the city,
Changes.
whereas the City of Bristol Industrial Development Authority, the lawful owner of numerous parcels of property located within the city limits of the City of Bristol and within Washington County, Virginia, and whereas the IDA owns property described as plat of lots 20, 21, 22, 23, and 24, the Falls Phase 2, and public storm drainage easement Lot 6, Phase 1 located in the City of Bristol, Virginia, Industrial Development Authority of the City of Bristol, Virginia, 300 Lee Street, Bristol, Virginia, 24201, of record in the office of the clerk of the circuit court for the City of Bristol in plat book 4, pages 550 through 552, slide 285, and whereas the City Council transferred Lot 20 as more particularly described in Exhibit A attached hereunto the Industrial Development Authority at the regularly scheduled council meeting held on February the 22nd, 2022. And whereas the Industrial Development Authority of the City of Bristol, Virginia wishes to transfer Lot 20 to TWAS Properties, LLC, a Delaware limited liability company. And whereas the Industrial Development Authority wishes to convey its rights, title, and interest in and to the aforementioned property to TWAS Properties, LLC, a Delaware LLC. Now therefore be it resolved that the Industrial Development Authority for the City of Bristol, Virginia will convey its rights, title, and interest in and to the real property as described upon full payment of the purchase price, and be it further resolved that all appropriate officials are authorized to sign the appropriate documents necessary to subdivide and convey its rights, title, and interest in and to the real property as described.
All right, I got a motion, I got a second, and we've read the resolution. Any further discussion? Please call the roll.
Conco,
Yes.
Esposito,
Yes.
Huffman,
Yes.
Knopflin,
Yes.
Thompson,
Yes.
Y'all owe me.
All right, congratulations.
Thank you to this board and to the staff and Randy for what all they've done to make this happen. Thank you. We look forward to this opportunity.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Congratulations, best wishes to you. There being no further business, we are adjourned.